Hi, everyone. We are here today with our customer EWE Netz to talk about the transformation processes in workforce management and to understand how they are handling increasingly complex operational workflows. But let's start with a quick round of introductions. Ole, Andreas? Yeah, hi, Tommaso. My name is Andreas Nyhof. I'm head of production control at EWE Netz, and I'm also the program manager for the Operational Excellence program. In this program, we are looking at all the processes across our regional organization, and we're aiming to harmonize and optimize them. Many thanks. Ole?
Thank you. My name is Ole Flörken. I'm currently heading up our business unit development. So I'm responsible for the company's strategic direction, process optimization, digitalization, and all of our internal management systems.
Ole, how would you describe the primary mission of EWE Netz?
As one of the largest distribution network operators in Germany, and especially in northern Germany, with over 2,000 employees, we take care of the infrastructure for gas, electricity, heating, and water, and in the future, telecommunications too. For us, that also means we're actively out in the field, working closely with our colleagues on the ground and those based in our central units, all with the clear and singular goal of driving the energy transition forward throughout northern Germany. The energy transition naturally means we have a lot on our plate. That means our operational workflows have to be constantly evolving. To keep a handle on the complexity, we are permanently working on developing our processes and workflows within the company and aligning them with the challenges we face.
Andreas, for a company that simultaneously operates water, electricity, gas, telecommunications, and heating networks, what would you say are the biggest challenges you face? And what was it like before you even had an FSM solution? Well, we are mainly faced with the fact that business complexity is rising significantly. We're seeing effects from legislation. We're also seeing issues around the skilled labor shortage, especially in Germany, in light of demographics. We have many older colleagues who will be leaving the company in the coming years, and that's where our challenge lies, on making sure we have the right skills for all the areas you mentioned. And the challenge we face is that we're doing many different things with many different systems, and in the future, we'll have to get this work done with new colleagues. Whereas in the past, we relied on the extensive experience of existing staff. At the same time, complexity is increasing for us, in both the back office and the field, largely due to legislation. Ole, I'm sure you looked at several options before choosing an FSM solution. What were the key points and challenges for you, and why did you decide on OverIT?
When we decided back then to go down the path of buying or introducing new workforce management software, the most important thing for us was to buy software that's for the employees. Something that actually helps them both in the office and in the field to basically do their jobs well. And we decided quite early on to approach this process in close collaboration with our employees. So we brought together field staff, office personnel, and colleagues from asset management, asset support, and IT to examine our requirements for such a tool together in structured 8-week sprints. And at the core, you could say there were 3 key decisions. We said, man, if we're going in this direction, we needed this. On the one hand, we said it has to be best practice. A tool that takes us to the next level and helps us evolve in terms of how we can shape our processes and workflows. The second point for us was finding a partnership that's future-oriented and innovative. So we talked very intensively with the colleagues about new possibilities and features in these sprints. But then we realized, man, there's OverIT. They already have a lot in the works and bring it to the table. But they also have the right mindset to work with us on these things, to just move them forward. And finally, it goes without saying that as an infrastructure operator, maintaining high quality and performance is absolutely vital for us. We employ a dedicated team of 650 field staff throughout the year who are responsible for managing a corresponding volume of service orders. And that's why the tool or software has to be powerful and at the same time have a very, very high standard of quality because we just can't afford to have a crash landing with software like that. It just has to work, so our colleagues out there can do a great job.
Thank you. Andreas, more on the operational side. What does a partnership like this look like? And how would you describe our collaboration so far? We are still only at the very beginning stages of our professional collaboration, We have only just finished rolling out the new software, yet it is already clear that we are on equal footing. We certainly have our fair share of tough decisions, specifically regarding costs and tight deadlines, but it has always remained fair with a truly shared goal. And that is the absolute key to a successful partnership. But also, and as Ole said earlier, it's just as important to us that looking ahead, we know we have a partner by our side who continues to develop the software on their own, and that we walk a path together, oriented toward our needs and the needs of the market, to keep developing the software the way we need it to get to the next level. And so far, we're really happy with it, because the response times are good, especially in the phase we're in, where there are obviously critical issues and we need to handle bugs quickly. We managed to get those bugs fixed very quickly together, and we're really, very, very happy so far with what's coming from OverIT side. Ole, EWE Netz is known as a pioneer in the energy transition landscape. Our partnership, what does that look like? And what do you see for our future together?
Tommaso, if you ask me right now, I'd say it's perfect. Why? You have the international experience we can draw on to further develop and enrich our processes, which have been at a very high level for years, and also to gear them toward the future. Why is that so important to us? Because we're pursuing the goal of being a company that's active not just in our network region, but throughout Germany, where we're basically climate neutral, driving the energy transition in Germany and simply continuing to develop a market with innovative ideas in the future.
Ole, what would you say, or do you have a tip for other utility companies in Europe if they're facing the same challenges you are right now?
2 points would be important to me. The first, being clear at the start about what the framework conditions or red lines are and defining those clearly. And then, in the second step, actually doing it step by step. If you separate it and say, first deal with the processes, how they need to change, then talk about the organization, what adjustments are needed because of the changes in processes. Then, in the organization, take the final step. And that was the step with you, buying software that fits right in there, and then just combines the other 2 points to be well-positioned overall. And while those are the 3 steps, it takes time, and you should take that time. Even though we did it very ambitiously and also very well, it's a change that just has to be anchored in the company.
Andreas, you lead the program on the operational side. What did the workforce management solution look like before OverIT? Well, you see, the local teams essentially went ahead and assigned the work based on their own prior experience. We did have some IT support on an SAP basis, but in the end, it really didn't result in any actual reduction of our overall workload. That is exactly the next step we need to take, seeing that, past methods have limits given future conditions with rising complexity and the skilled labor shortage. We must reach a new level which our existing processes simply cannot support. Andreas, EWE Netz manages over 100,000 kilometers of networks. From a field service perspective, that's extremely difficult to coordinate. What does this difficulty of coordination mean in practice? We actually have a guiding principle that we always keep in mind. We want to have the right employee with the right skill, with the right tool, in the right place at the right time. That covers our complex, interconnected challenges. We need short routes, smart skill management, and field work based on qualifications, done as efficiently as possible. Andreas, what's changed since we introduced the OverIT next-gen platform together? And what's changed in the workflows? Well, we mentioned it briefly earlier. We're still at the very beginning, so we're not at the point yet where everything works exactly as we imagine in the long term. But you can already see now that in dispatching, for example, we have a different level of detail. While before, to use the system correctly, we had to adjust our workflows a bit, where we might have had only one job before, now we have to plan multiple jobs somehow. That leads to change, of course, but it's already noticeable. And that's exactly what gives us the optimism moving forward, that in our joint development, we'll continue to progress on these issues and can then also achieve the efficiencies we're hoping for. Andreas, when a new system, a new platform is introduced in a company, clearly that's also a change for the people. we also want to know how they reacted and how they've embraced it. Yes, over the entire project duration, even before the software switch, we've implemented intensive change support for our colleagues who will be affected by the change in the long term for all other topics too. And in the course of introducing the software we're doing together, we've tried to start taking everyone along the journey as much as possible. Of course, that doesn't always succeed, and it's just difficult because we have a large field of people with over 600 colleagues. But we've practiced active stakeholder management, we've set up various committees where we've informed different levels of the company, and from management to the technician who's most actively affected by the change tomorrow. And we've also tried to involve them in certain decision-making processes so they can give feedback on how we implement things to manage the transition from the old IT software world to FSM. Ole, we embarked on this journey together, and we are still very much in it. Tell me, what do you consider the most valuable thing we have achieved thus far? And where do you see us standing in 12 months' time?
From my perspective, it's really important that we've gained acceptance within the workforce for the software, but also for the changes we've undergone, which Andreas just described, and that we're operating at a level where we can say we've positioned ourselves for the future and we're on the right track. Why is that so important for us? Our primary goal is to ensure that EWE Netz, with our many orders and activities, remains one of the safest network operators in northern Germany for the future. And if we can manage to do that within the next 12 months in such a way that our colleagues feel truly confident with the software and can successfully complete all their daily work orders, then I'm certain that we're on a very good path forward.
Okay, thanks, Ole. Andreas, your thoughts? Yes, to be specific, also from my role in the company, I would hope, and I'm strongly convinced that we will get to a point where, especially in the back office, scheduling for our colleagues will be easier in 12 months if we implement the topics we still have ahead of us together. We'll also see the first successes in the field in terms of route optimization and, for example, success in the area, which also concerns acceptance. And the third point that would be important to me, and which I would also expect, is that we can jointly, we're just as much in demand, though it's not just OverIT, but jointly simply, install improvements and changes in IT at a high speed, and thus also move the system forward. Andreas, Ole, one last question. What does our partnership together mean to you? Today, we're on a path of energy transition and face major challenges, especially with the shortage of skilled workers. And I believe that in partnership with you, we have a scalable, modern, and adaptable software service provider by our side so that we can master this well together.
And I'd just like to add, because this point is always so important to me, the way forward, as you said, with the challenges, but also looking for new solutions, looking together to ultimately form a strong partnership for the energy industry.
Ole, Andreas, thank you so much for today.